Hey guys, have you ever wondered how people create all these beautiful and creative journal pages in their daily journal, memory journal, or even travel journals? Well, today I'm going to show you the easiest way to create a fun, creative, and colorful background in your journal page. And it's so simple. All you need is a journal. Anything that you have will work. And some acrylic paint will be enough to get you started on some super easy but really fun and colorful journal pages. Today I will be using my daily journal, which is just a handmade traveler's notebook insert, and I made it with all kinds of different papers, and the acrylic paint that I'm going to be using is just the cheap stuff from the dollar store and a few from Michael's. I have never had my journals fall apart since I started stitching them together, and if you guys have seen any of my videos before, you know I love to soak all my journal pages with watercolors, acrylic paint, of course markers, and they always hold up so super well. I used to only use staple together journals, and sometimes the pages did fall out, but if you don't mind the look, you can just tape the pages back in like I did, and I always used either washi tape or some clear tape. How I choose my colors for the backgrounds on each journal page varies depending on which journal I'm using, but for my daily journal, which is this one, I try to keep all my pages very different from one page to the next. And so if I'm going to be using a postcard or a photo, a tag of some sort, I try to always pull out a little bit of the color that's in those and then bring it into the background. And on this page, I actually used a little tag that had some aqua and teal on it, and then a little palm tree that had orange on it. So then I was able to pull those colors out and put them onto the background. And also my favorite color combo is pink and orange. So I always try to sneak those in whenever I can because they're my favorite and I just love the way they look. But really, it doesn't matter. You can just go with whatever color you really like or whatever one's your favorite. These journal pages are such a great way to just be creative, and you really don't need to show your journals to anyone. So it's perfect for you to just practice and to kind of figure out what ways and what combos you like together. And honestly, just enjoy the process. Also, I forgot to mention to always just grab a scrap piece of paper and then just put it behind each page that you're working on. This will prevent any paint from going from the page in front or behind, and it just kind of helps, and it always creates a really fun page after that you can use later on in your journals or use for backgrounds or something else. I also can't waste any of the paint, so I always just paint the rest onto one of the scrap sheets of paper as well. So now that the journal page is done and it's all dry, I'm ready to start doing some journaling and adding some details. I'm very happy with the colors and how it turned out. I love the pink and orange, of course, and I really like how the pink blended with the teal, creating this really soft purple. And for the date, I'm actually going to just use one of my stamp sets. I love using stamps in my journals, but you can just hand journal them or handwrite them if you want, or you could even use stickers. I don't always add the date in for my journal pages, but because this is my daily journal, I like to know when I was journaling in it, so that is why I'm using a date in this journal. But really, you don't need to. You can just do whatever you want. You can put words, you could put maybe a location or your friends' names or whatever you're journaling about. So you can just do whatever you like, but in my daily journal, I always start with the date. So I'm just going to keep working on my journal page and adding some details, and I decided to add a little pocket, which I love pockets on any journal page, and this one is completely recycled, so I'm using a little piece of recycled plastic that I cut off some packaging, and I'm just going to tape it down to create a little pocket for the little ticket that actually inspired this page, and it's so perfect. I love that little travel tag. I love it so much. And then I'm going to actually just do a little bit of stamping on the corners of the pages as well. I chose to use a little car and a plane because I'm going to be going back to Mexico, but I'm not quite sure yet if I'm going to be driving or flying, so I will be journaling a little bit about that, and I wanted to kind of have photos that would remind me of what I'm journaling, and so that is why I chose those two stamps. But really, you can do anything you like. And so I love the idea of having stamps in my journal pages, and you can actually even stamp any plastic if you have Stays-On or some permanent stamp pads, which I used to use all the time, but I'm out of those right now. But if you have that, you can totally do that as well. And then I'm just gonna start journaling. And then I'm just going to use a ruler to keep the lines really straight and to kind of match the other side of the page, which normally I just kind of go with the flow, but I do really like a straight line sometimes, so you can totally use that trick as well. And of course, I'm just going to use a ballpoint pen. The reason I always go with a ballpoint pen is because I have tried so many different markers and pens and things, and I found that they are the cheapest, most inexpensive, and they work the best. I have ruined many Sharpies and markers going over acrylic paint, so I do really recommend a ballpoint pen. And I have a little bit more journaling to do, so I'm gonna just move on to the next page. And I didn't really like that blue page, so I'm just gonna actually cover it with some more recycled paper, and I'm gonna paint it with some more acrylic paint as well. And I'm going to try to match the colors on the new recycled piece of paper with some of the colors that were on the vellum that's on the next page. It is a handmade vellum, so that I was just doing out some testing, which I really do like the pinks and blues and purples and yellows. So I'm going to try to pull the purple and pink and see if that works. The purple is a little bit too faded for me, so I'm going to add another layer just to make sure I get that really rich purple color that I'm looking for. I want it to be really dark so I can use my white gel pen over it. I love that dark, rich color. It's gonna look so good with my white gel pen over it, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. But I'm really happy with that, and I think it looks great. So I'm just gonna have to match the other side of the paper a little bit. So the right side is that vellum that I was telling you about, and it does need a little bit more. It's a little too white, so I'm just gonna paint onto the vellum. It is handmade, so it's a little bit more waxy than normal, but I love it. And if you guys haven't tried making your own, I do recommend that as well. It's so fun. And using that pink and purple will match the other side a lot better now too. For the lighter pink background, I'm just going to use my black ballpoint pen to journal. And then of course for the purple, I'm going to use my favorite white gel pen, which I love it. The cursive writing goes so smooth over it, and it just looks so good. You do have to be a little bit careful when you're writing with two different pens, but it is so fun, and it really does give a really nice look on the page. If you guys are using any of these ideas that I'm showing you guys today, or any from my past videos, I'd love to see them. Tag me on Instagram over at Journal Shop Canada. I'll leave the link down below, but I really would love to see what you guys are up to and what your journaling style is, and hopefully I've inspired you guys a little bit. Now that the journaling is done on that piece of paper, I'm going to glue it down over the blue page. I typically use two different glues. One will be a glue stick from the dollar store, and it's just a regular school glue, which I love these. I typically get the purple one, and then I also always get the acid-free double-sided tape, which I love this. It works really well with photos and all kinds of stuff, so those are the two glues that I usually use, and then of course my regular clear tape is one of the options as well. I always love to have all kinds of photos, different sizes in my journal, especially my daily journal. And so I just kind of go through my phone and see what I've saved or what I have on my phone, and then I make it into a grid, so that way I can choose all different sizes, and then I'll just cut them up and then kind of use them in different ways on my journal pages. And I think it looks so great when you have a photo that reflects what you're writing about. And of course, since we're always, or at least I'm always doing such bright colored backgrounds, I love to have white borders around the photos. It just makes the photo pop out of the page really well after all that color. So definitely recommend that one as well. So here I'm actually fixing the border. I cut it just a little bit too small, so I'm gonna add another small piece of paper just to make the border a bit bigger, and it'll look a lot better that way. Try not to stress out too much about making little mistakes. It's all about the process and just enjoying the creativity that you have when you're journaling. And remember, most importantly, that it's about the words as well. So if you make a mistake, there's always a creative way to fix it. So here I'm just gonna add the final little photo to the page, and it's literally the smallest little photo. I think it's 1.5 inches, so it's super tiny, and of course I want to have a little border, so I'm just cutting it down to size to make sure it looks okay. The wider the border, the worse it looked, so I'm just gonna play with it until I find a size that I like, and then I'm just gonna glue it down. But I'm really happy with this so far. And I really hope that you guys got a little bit of inspiration from this video. I hope you guys are journaling a lot as well. It's so nice to capture memories and your thoughts and things like that, especially in a journal when you've created some really fun pages. So I really appreciate you guys being here. If you're still here, thank you so much for being so supportive. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Here is another one of my favorite videos. Take a look at it and hopefully it'll inspire you as well. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.